Today's episode, I want to go with the flow, go with the vibes. I've tried this in the previous episode, it's worked really well, where I kind of just go over the Diver CEO conversation cards, take out cards for the whole episode, and just answer the questions as they come out. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. I'll try and add context, tell the stories behind the answers, and be truthful and authentic to every single question. If there's questions that are too personal, I'll be honest and I'll just say, look, this one I need more time to think about, or it's too personal. But generally, if it's a question that has a lot of depth to it, but I feel like I have enough time in this episode to think about it, then I will answer it. Also, I'll be honest, I'm going to turn the cap around just to add a different effect. Okay, just to swap it up, switch it up a little bit, just so that we have, what do you call it, a bit of difference in the set. So I'm still, it's part of the same studio session if I'm being fully transparent with you. And first episode I didn't have the cap, or the first two I didn't have the cap. Last one I had the cap turned around. Now I'm turning the cap. But this one I'm actually just doing it in front of you guys, so you guys know. Just being fully transparent. It's a studio session, recording a couple of episodes. Don't know how it looks. I might just swap it back again, but let's add a different touch. Why not? Also, this is actually hilarious. I just realized this. So this is the Diver CEO conversation cards, and this is the Diver CEO snapback. Oh, wow. You'd think that I'm fully sponsored, that I'm an ambassador for the brand. You feel like I'm like an official, but I'm not. I just love certain products that they have. In fact, I love all the products that they have, and so it just so happens to be. So this definitely makes me look like fully sponsored, but I'm not. Just love the products. Right, let's look at what questions we have, and let's see if we can make this a fun time like we have previously. So, what is the first question here? What advice did you get from someone earlier in your career that you followed, but now, in hindsight, you wish you hadn't, and why? This is an interesting question. Let me say out loud again. What advice did you get from someone earlier in your career that you followed, but now, in hindsight, you wish you hadn't, and why? The interesting thing about advice is that it's mostly well-intended. It's well-intended. But most advice that people give is just rubbish. Most advice that people give out is bad advice. It's well-intended, it's well-intentioned, but it's just bad advice. A lot of the times it's because people are trying to give you generalized feedback, but you're a personalized human. So how could you take generalized feedback? Everyone's different. So I'm just reflecting back to advice that I may have gotten in my career. I can't remember who, and this is just being honest. I can't remember who gave the advice. And even if I did remember, I probably wouldn't name and shame. Or would I? Guess we'll never know. But there is a certain advice that I got at the beginning of my career that in hindsight now, I think it wasn't the best advice. When I first started my career, I was doing what I now in hindsight looking back think of as like toxic, unhealthy work patterns. Like I would come into work super early and I'd make sure that I'm there before anyone else in the company is, before my boss is, before my team is. And then I would leave work after my boss has left, after my team has left, after almost everyone in the company has left the office. And then the next day I'll do it all over again. I'm trying to find a middle ground here because to a certain degree, at the beginning of my career, those kind of habits did have some sort of impact. But they also, some sort of positive impact, but they also had some sort of negative impact. So I'm trying to be balanced here in the thought process that I have. But Habits like having lunch at your desk or having breakfast at your desk. Yeah, I don't know. And all of it was to try and portray the perception that I'm always on and I'm always working. And it was for other people to see. Which is the same reason why, and I've never done this, but I know people who do this, where people will send emails out at 11 p.m. in the night, but they had those emails ready to send at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, but they chose to send it at 11 p.m. to create the illusion that they're always working. I've never personally done that, I'll be honest, and I'm just being truly candid with you guys, but it's for that same reason. It's to portray this perception of always being on, always being switched on, always working, ride or die for the company type of vibes. And it's advice that I got in my career early on at the beginning. I can't remember who. That's genuine. But now, in hindsight, what matters at the end of the day is the quality of the work that you produce within the hours stipulated, not outside of that. I used to work every weekend. I used to work every evening. It was, and I could sit here and convince myself and rationalize it how it was for the purpose of loving work and it was for the company and I was the underdog and I had to prove myself. All those things are true. All those things are perfectly true. I was the underdog. At the beginning of my career, I had a point to prove. I had something. I had a chip on my shoulder that I needed to prove. I had to do more. I had to go above and beyond. All those things are true. But now, as I'm in the later stages of my career, it's so interesting to me. One thing that I realized, I always end up saying it's so interesting to me as a filler word to segue into a different thought. That's funny. That's funny. But it is interesting to me. So I'm not going to shy away from that. It's interesting to me that those habits that I carried out had a positive impact in terms of perception and in terms of my career. But equally, they had a negative impact in my health and in across other areas like social areas, or my time was just being, I was basically living to work rather than working to live. And I think you can prove a point by the quality of your work, not necessarily by the quantity. And so in the late stages of my career now, I focus so much on the quality of the work within the time frame that I'm given. That doesn't mean that occasionally, when there is a need to work extra hours or overtime or outside of the normal working hours, that doesn't mean that I won't do. Of course. But before, I was choosing to do that all the time when I didn't need to. Whereas now, if that happens, it's a choice because I understand the circumstances would work. Now, that doesn't happen often. Very rarely that happens today. But when it does, that's okay because I have a space of work that I love. I love my team. I love my company. I love the setup that we have. I love everything, and they're so understanding. And if I need to go for a doctor's appointment, then it's not a big deal. In other companies that I've worked for, it was a big deal. So it's all full circle. And that's actually, that segues into something beautiful. The companies that care for their employees, watch how they care for your company. Watch how they care for your company. They'll care for your company more than you've ever seen anyone care for your company. Why? Because when you show them that you care, when you give them freedom, when you give them flexibility, when you trust them. So many companies right now don't trust their employees to work from home. So many. When you trust them, watch how they look after your company, your customers, your products, your systems, your platforms, your services. Watch how they look after the business when you look after them. And I know that's an unrelated point, but I kind of just want to make that point to the camera. I hope that this clip makes it onto LinkedIn. I hope that this clip makes it onto LinkedIn because a lot of people need to hear this. A lot of people need to hear this. Trust your employees. Trust that they will do the best that they can do. Your default shouldn't be, I don't trust them. your default should be, I trust them. And then if they give you a reason not to, that's different. But make your default that you trust them, not that you don't trust them. So that's the answer to this question. Let's go on to the next one. This question, let's hope I don't get emotional with this question. This question says, who is the one person in your life that deserves the greatest thanks? And if you were to give them the thanks today, what would you say? My mom, without a doubt. And I am grateful that I can still say thank you, and that I get to spend time with my mom, that I can still say thank you. And I make sure the opportunities that I have, I say thank you. But I definitely, I cannot emphasize and stress this enough. The greatest thanks that I have to give is to my mom. Mom, I know you're watching this because you support me so much, and I love you so much, and I know you love me so much, and you've taught me so much about so much, and so much about so much English. But you're the reason I'm the man that I am today. They say that it takes a man to raise another one, but that's not true, because you raised me and my brother to be the men that we are today, and you did it all by yourself. So that is proof that you don't need another man to raise a man. You did a fantastic job, Mom. I'm so thankful. I appreciate you a lot. I hope that you know that, and that is so genuine. And every opportunity that I get to, I tell you this, and I know that you already know this. You know that I love you. You know that I'm grateful for you. I know you know all of this, but I want to say it again, because there's never enough repetition for something that is meaningful. Thank you so much for everything that you do, everything that you've done in the past, everything that you continue to do today. Because I don't want to get emotional on the podcast, but it means the world. You mean the world to me, Mom. Thank you so much. I love you. I want to keep it short. Let's move on to the next one. Next question is, what have you done recently for someone else? What have I done recently for someone else? Well, I do a lot of stuff for the people closest to me. This is a very interesting question. I've never been asked this. What have you done recently for someone else? Well, I can just give you an example. It's not even to do with someone close to me. It's a complete stranger. I was just getting off the train now earlier, and a stranger asked me for help because they were basically flooded with the amount of suitcases they had to carry, and they just needed help carrying them from the train onto the platform. And yeah, I was like, of course, I'll help. That's something that's the most recent. That's funny. The question was, what have you done recently for someone else? That's literally the most recent. It was literally just like earlier. Couldn't have been any more recent. Yeah. Helped someone just carry suitcases from the train onto the platform because he had a lot of suitcases and they were very heavy. And yeah, I just helped out. And I hope people do more of that, more of the good stuff, more of the stuff that make the world a better place. Something as small as that. Like, I hope people do more of that kind of stuff. This question, I need to think about it. This is, I'm not going to say it because I'm not skipping it. I will get back to that at some point, but that requires time. That requires time. Same for this one. Question here, what is your proudest moment? What is my proudest moment? There is a lot of proud moments. There's a lot of proud moments. But what is the proudest moment? And I'm sure I've answered a similar question in the past. So I'm trying to think of something that maybe I haven't yet mentioned on the podcast, or maybe I have, but not to the same degree. What is your proudest moment? Sorry, let me think, guys. making it this far and not breaking. I won't expand, but I do want to put that out there. Making it this far in life without breaking, or without fully breaking. Maybe let's add that. We'll keep that as it is. Story for another time. That's a life one. This goes onto this bucket. Right, okay. Need time for this. Some of these questions, they're really interesting questions, but they require more time for me to digest so that I can give you like a well thought out answer. What topic is no one talking about now that historians will study in the future? It's a good question. It's hard for me to think about something that no one is talking about right now, because a lot of the things that I'm thinking about, people are talking about to a certain degree. So, what is, I don't know. I don't know, actually. I have no idea. I'll put this in the bucket of gotta think about it. Gotta think about that one. Do, 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 do. Yep, think about that one as well. This is a interesting question. Probably a quick answer from me, but basically, when you are near the end of your life and looking back over it, what will you be proudest of, and what will you regret the most? Yeah, when you are near the end of your life and looking back over it, what will you be proudest of, and what will you regret the most? I'll be proudest of the things that I did, even when I had doubts for myself. And I'll be regretful of the things that I didn't do, even when I had doubts about it. Same exact circumstance, just a different decision. That's what I'll be proud of or regretful of, is what that decision turns out to be for the things that I truly desire. It's an easy one for me. Ooh, this is a really cool question. If you could be part of any brand or company, past or present, which would it be and why? I like this question. This is really cool. There's a couple of brands that come to mind straight away. So I guess the obvious one is the one that you see. Oh, sorry, microphone. The one that you see here on display, DOAC, Diary of a CEO. I would absolutely love to be a part of such an innovative, such an experimental, such a transformational, such a culture-driven, people-driven place, environment. I think that would be super cool. What would I do in that place if there was a dream role for me? Quite honestly, not sure. Haven't thought about it. I would love to be one of the podcasts on the network, Flight Studio. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Stephen. But yeah, I think being a part of that brand, Diary of a CEO, to me, that would be super, super cool. I like the experimentation and continuous improvement, 1% gains mindset and environment that, at least from the outside, it looks like you've created, that I think is fantastic. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So that's why I would want to be a part of it, because I want to join big missions. I want to help big missions and big visions. I have my own mission, my own vision, but I also want to help meaningful visions and missions. Sometimes it's not just about creating your own, sometimes it's about supporting other visions that also align with your own. So I think Diary of a CEO, that's my pitch. That's my pitch. Maybe there's something there in the community management space that I think I could really make a dent on. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to be a part of that brand. Direct CEO, shout me. Next one, Gymshark. I have to mention this. For the longest time, I've wanted to work for Gymshark. What a beautiful, beautiful company. I think what Gymshark has done incredibly well is, in what I would consider a short amount of time, they've managed to create a community and make a shift in the fitness space. With everything that they do, I think community is at the forefront, for sure. Things like the Gymshark 66, that changed my life. And I'm not saying that lightly because it sounds nice and it's a marketing plot. No, legit, for real. Go, just literally search on, if you're watching this right now, Gymshark, Noah Mack, Ben Francis, I'm looking at you guys right now. If you're watching this clip, I want you guys to Google Gymshark 66 documentary, and the first video that will come up on that search result, I guarantee you, well, let's hope I'm not flopping this, but I'm pretty sure it is. It'll be my documentary. I made a documentary for 66 days for the Gymshark 66 in 2021. That period of time changed my life. It changed my relationship with fitness. It changed my relationship with health. It changed my relationship with wellness. It put me on the path that I'm on today when it comes to health. Like, I wouldn't be going to the gym consistently. That really kickstarted things for me in a period of time where things weren't great. Because I remember that was during COVID times and I let myself go and things weren't great physically, mentally, emotionally. And that challenge really transformed. It just transformed things for me. So I'm eternally grateful to Gymshark for that challenge, because it made such a huge difference in my life. And it wasn't just for 66 days. And actually that was the motto, wasn't it? I think the challenge, for those who don't know, by the way, it's a 66-day challenge because Gymshark believes that, well, there's a study that says that it takes 66 days to form a habit, but Gymshark believes that it takes 66 days to change your life. And that couldn't be any more true. It is so true. It really took 66 days to change my life. And the aftermath from that challenge is still visible today. And so, Noah Mack, Ben Francis, search for Gymshark 66 documentary. It will be the first one. It will be the first documentary. It's called The Challenge of the Challenges. And yeah, I was very proud of that season of my life. And I'd love to work for Gymshark. Maybe there's some sort of project management role, Scrum Master, Agile Delivery Management role. Maybe there's something in the tech department there that I could offer based on my experience, background, and knowledge. That's my pitch, Gymshark. So if you're listening, that's it. And then the third, I'll give a third one. I'll give a third brand or company that I would like to join or be a part of. By the way, if anyone in my company is watching this, anyone in my brand, anyone that's part of my workplace is watching this, I love the company, I love the team, I love everything we have. Do not get that mistaken. I'm just answering the question, but I really, really do love the company that I work for, the people that I work for, my boss, the team. I work with exceptional people today, and I'm so happy. I couldn't be any happier today with the environment, the setup, the culture, what we have. Really, like, massive shout out to my team, my boss, my company. So if you're watching this, don't get it twisted, okay? But yeah, let me just give a third answer to this question. I would say the Hut Group. The Hut Group. Matthew Molden, I'm looking at you. Yep, I'm looking at you. I think you have built something spectacular. I really do. I've come across your brand recently. So it's actually very recent that I've become aware of the Hut Group, even though you guys have been around for ages and you've been killing it in the spaces that you've tapped into. But I looked into your website. I went to, I think it's thg.com, or is it thehutgroup.com? I think it's thg.com. I'm not sponsored, by the way, guys. Just saying, but I'm just plugging it because you should definitely check out their website. When I read through their website, it screamed culture driven to me. It screamed continuous improvement. It screamed people. Like, it screamed the good stuff. It was so apparent from looking into your website that you value people above everything else. And that to me is paramount to anything. So I encourage everyone that's watching this, go check out the Hut Group's website. Honestly, it is such a incredible, first, amazing website. Second, the vibe that I got was a really, really good one when it comes to people, culture, and just like the stuff that you do. Like, it's awesome. So if there's anything in the tech department, hit me up. Product management, agile delivery management, scrum master, project management, something along those departments. Like, that's up my alley. I would love to further that mission. Like, genuinely, Matthew Molding, I'm looking at you. This is my pitch. You've built something that I know you and everyone that works for that company has worked incredibly hard to build. And you should all be proud of it. And this goes to every brand and company that I've just mentioned. It's not the person at the top. It's everyone that forms that company that's worked hard to push where it is. It's never, ever, ever, with any company, it's never about one person, one given person. It's always about everyone that makes part of it, because just like the human body, you have different organs for different functions. For companies, it's the same. You have different roles, different departments to make the company work. And that's the same. Different organs make the body work. Yeah, that'll be the answer for this question. Thank you so much to everyone. I appreciate you so much. If you've enjoyed today's episode, hit the subscribe button and I will see you very soon. Thank you.